Hitler himself suffering from a range of physical ailments and increasingly reliant on a cocktail of drugs administered by his personal physician, Dr. Theodor Morell, had become a shadow of the figure who had once captivated millions with his fiery oratory. The scene Heinrich encountered upon entering the bunker was one of palpable tension. Gathered in the room were several of the most powerful figures in the Nazi regime: General Keitel, General Bergdorf, General Krebs, Martin Bormann, Heinrich Himmler, Hermann Göring, and Admiral Dönitz. Each of these men had their own agendas, but all were united by a shared fear of what was to come. Hitler, despite his deteriorating health, remained at the centre of the meeting, but Heinrich was struck by how much the Führer had changed since their last face-to-face encounter. The once charismatic leader was now a gaunt, pale figure, his hands trembling uncontrollably as he struggled to maintain control of the conversation. Heinrich later remarked to his aides that Hitler looked like a man on the brink of death, a walking corpse who had less than 24 hours to live. Hitler, however, was not ready to give up hope. He turned to Heinrich, eager to hear an assessment of the situation on the Oder front. Heinrich, never one to mince words, delivered a blunt and devastating evaluation. The forces defending the Oder were not capable of holding back the Soviet onslaught, he explained. The Ninth Army, under General Busse, was already stretched to its limits, despite efforts to reinforce it. Worse still, the 3rd Panzer Army, stationed to the north, was in an even more precarious state. The Panzer units, once the pride of the German military, were now critically under-resourced. They lacked fuel, ammunition, and even basic equipment. Many of the tanks that remained were barely operational, and the soldiers manning the lines were exhausted, demoralized, and poorly trained. Heinrich also revealed another critical flaw in Germany's defense strategy. The best reserves, particularly the armoured divisions that could have been used to reinforce the Oder front, had been sent to Prague based on faulty intelligence. This miscalculation left Berlin's defences dangerously exposed, and there were no significant reserves left to call upon in the event of a Soviet breakthrough. Without these critical reinforcements, Heinrich warned, the front would collapse and the Soviets would be in Berlin within days. The room fell silent as Heinrich finished his report. The reality of the situation was undeniable, but few in the room had the courage to speak it aloud. Hitler, however, refused to accept defeat. He insisted that reinforcements were on their way and that there was still time to prepare the defences. Heinrich, growing increasingly frustrated, retorted that the reinforcements Hitler spoke of were a mirage. The German war effort was running on fumes. Supplies of ammunition, fuel, and even food were running dangerously low, and the men who were being drafted to defend Berlin were nothing like the seasoned soldiers of earlier campaigns. Many were inexperienced recruits, some barely old enough to shave, while others were older men, hastily conscripted from civilian life with minimal training. These were not the troops capable of holding back the Red Army. Still, Hitler clung to his belief that a miracle was possible. He argued that the Soviet forces were overstretched, that they were using up their reserves, and that the quality of their troops had diminished. Heinrich, who had witnessed the strength of the Soviet forces firsthand, sharply disagreed. He explained that the Soviet troops were not only experienced, but were fighting with a determination unmatched by their German counterparts. For the Red Army, this was more than just another military campaign. It was a fight for revenge, for the destruction of the regime that had ravaged their homeland. At this point, the meeting took a strange turn. Göring, always eager to curry favour with Hitler, jumped in with an audacious offer. He would send 100,000 Luftwaffe ground troops to reinforce the defences. This was a desperate gamble, as the Luftwaffe had long since ceased to function as an effective air force, and its ground troops were largely inexperienced in infantry combat. Himmler, not wanting to be outdone, pledged an additional 25,000 SS troops. Finally, Admiral Dönitz, the head of the Kriegsmarine, offered to send 12,000 sailors to defend the Oder front. While the numbers sounded impressive on paper, Heinrich knew that these hastily assembled forces would be of little value on the battlefield. Most of these men lacked the training or equipment necessary for ground combat. and sending them to the front would likely result in heavy casualties without changing the outcome of the battle. In a final act of defiance, Heinrich bluntly told the group that the situation was beyond saving. He warned that without the return of the armoured divisions that had been sent to Prague, Berlin would fall within days. Hitler, still clinging to his belief in victory, refused to listen. As the meeting drew to a close, Hitler's final words to Heinrich were an attempt to inspire. "If you believe in victory, it will come." Heinrich left the bunker, knowing that his warnings had fallen on deaf ears. Outside, he turned to his aide and said, "It's no use anymore. Everything is lost." On April 16, 1945, the final Soviet offensive began. The Red Army launched a massive artillery barrage, followed by a full-scale assault across the Oder River. The German defences, as Heinrich had predicted, crumbled under the sheer weight of the Soviet attack. Within days, the Soviet forces encircled Berlin, cutting off any remaining hope of escape. The battle for Berlin would rage on for 2 more weeks, but the outcome was never in doubt. By the end of April, Hitler had taken his own life in the very bunker where he had ignored Heinrich's warnings. The Third Reich, which had once sought to conquer all of Europe, was finally brought to its knees. For Heinrich, there was little satisfaction in having been proven right. The price of Germany's delusion had been catastrophic: millions dead, cities destroyed, and a nation left in ruins. As we reach the end of this gripping look at the final days of Germany, it's hard not to reflect on the immense cost of life and the tragic consequences of leadership blinded by ideology. The story of General Heinrich's final report is a stark reminder of the futility of war when the writing is already on the wall. The last moments of the Third Reich, captured in desperate meetings and false promises, show us how even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope and fear can cloud reality. If you found this deep dive into history insightful, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth documentaries like this. I upload regularly, covering some of the most pivotal and often overlooked moments in history, exploring the decisions and events that shaped our world.
The tale of the American-German volunteers, or SS Renegades. This intriguing segment of our past remains shrouded in relative obscurity, a forgotten narrative waiting to be unravelled. So, today, we embark on a journey to unearth the concealed details of this historical anomaly, a facet of World War II that, for some inexplicable reason, has eluded comprehensive study. Did a significant number of American volunteers participate in this clandestine endeavour of joining the German war machine? More than we could have originally imagined. While Mark Felton recently shed light on this subject, our exploration takes us deeper into the shadows, revealing untold stories and shedding light on the motivations and forgotten documents proving that there is more than we originally knew, and that led some Americans to don German uniforms and see combat on the every front. In the years leading up to the outbreak of World War II, individuals of German descent residing outside Germany were actively encouraged to establish citizens' groups aimed at promoting German virtues globally. The primary objective was to advance causes aligned with the goals of the Nazi Party. In the United States, the Amerika-Deutsche Volksbund, also known as the German-American Bund, emerged in 1936, presenting itself as an organization of patriotic Americans of German stock. The Bund operated approximately 20 youth and training camps and expanded its influence to include tens of thousands of members distributed among 70 regional divisions throughout the country. A significant event in the history of the German-American Bund occurred on February 20th, 1939, when the organization organized an Americanization rally at Madison Square Garden in New York. During this event, the Bund vehemently denounced Jewish conspiracies, President Roosevelt and other perceived adversaries. Attended by 20,000 supporters and members, the rally faced vehement opposition from large crowds of anti-fascists. The anti-fascist demonstrators were kept in check by a considerable presence of 1,500 New York City police officers. However, soon with the onset of World War II in 1939, the German-American Bund experienced a rapid decline. The organization disintegrated and many of its assets were seized. Furthermore, its leader was arrested on charges of embezzlement and subsequently deported to Germany. This marked the end of the German-American Bund's influence and activities in the United States as the nation became deeply engaged in the war effort against Germany and its allies. During the wartime era, German propaganda alleging that a significant number of Americans had defected from their military ranks to enlist with the German SS. This unsubstantiated claim sought to sow seeds of doubt and fear, portraying a distorted image of loyalty within the American armed forces. Adding to this, there arose a new division entity known as the George Washington Legion, an American legion reportedly fighting alongside Nazi Germany during World War II. This fanciful narrative aimed to exploit the fears of the American public, implying that some of their fellow countrymen had betrayed their allegiance and taken up arms against their nation. Before we go into the American men we found that joined that aren't known, we will quickly go over the official government records. A noteworthy but relatively small occurrence in 1940 involved a handful of Americans aligning themselves with the Germans during World War II. Surprisingly, the documented number of individuals involved stands at a mere 5, suggesting the limited scale of this peculiar collaboration. Strikingly, details about the fate and activities of these individuals have largely remained elusive since 1940, leaving a veil of mystery over their subsequent actions. Among those who chose to join forces with the Germans, a discernible pattern emerges in their backgrounds. The majority of them were individuals of German ethnicity who had settled in America, reflecting a possible connection to their ancestral homeland. Additionally, some of these Americans exhibited a tangible link to Germany, either through familial ties or a profound affinity for the culture and traditions of the fatherland. Here we have one example of an American born with French heritage. This isn't very well known, but many of these occurrences took place. His born name is Peter Delaney, but went by Comte Pierre Louis Delaney Duvert and was born in Holcomb, Missouri, USA in 1907. Peter lost his father at the age of 7, but his uncle financed his education at a military high school in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, USA. During this period, influenced by his French aunt, he embraced his French heritage. The Delaney family had emigrated to North America in the early 18th century, learned French and adopted the name Pierre. Following high school, while working at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Delaney converted to Catholicism, transitioning from his Lutheran upbringing. Subsequently, he received a scholarship to study in Rome, returning to St. Louis in 1932 as a professor of theology at Fontbonne College. While in Rome, Delaney applied for and was granted French citizenship through the French embassy. In 1935, he was conscripted into the French army, now going by the grandiose name Pierre Delaney Duvert and claiming lineage from the Counts of Vert. He served with enthusiasm, obtaining a reserve commission and serving in the 152nd Infantry Regiment at Colmar, Alsace. In May 1940, he and his family lived in Lausanne, Switzerland, where Duvert supposedly operated as a French military intelligence agent. After the German invasion, they relocated to occupied France. Duvert's political stance leaned towards monarchism, French nationalism, and reactionary views. He supported the anti-Semitic Charles Maurras, leader of Action Française, and harboured strong Anglophobic sentiments aligning with the Vichy regime's ideology. He resigned from the French army in 1941, joined Pétain's Légion Française des Combattants, and later transferred to the Légion des Volontaires Français, the French legion within the German army. He participated in actions on the Eastern Front before serving with the collaborationist Vichy militia, the Milice Française. Duver then joined the Kurt Eggers Regiment, working as a radio propagandist. As early as 1941, Pierre had written a letter that stated, Annecy, France, March 3, 1941. Note that America has not yet been attacked by anyone, but America is clearly talking about extending the scope of the war, necessarily putting Japan into it and making it an ideological war. America has only its own interests in mind. With whom will they go to bed in their search of supremacy? With communism? God forbid. American material assistance to Stalin could cause the destruction of Europe and its Christian civilization. In Berlin 1945, the sophisticated and highly educated Duver mentored the less experienced friend called Monty. Duver arranged for Monty to document Soviet atrocities in Hungary and compile reports for broadcast to American audiences. Monty officially joined the Waffen-SS in early April 1945, coinciding with the disintegration of the Kurt Eggers Regiment in the face of the Soviet advance. A few days later, while the Allies were closing in on Berlin, the air raids became beyond brutal. An American-born Peter was killed by American bombers. That is only one story of Americans born fighting for the Germans. Obviously, there are much-known cases of such as Monty, a second lieutenant in the US Army Air Corps, was stationed in Karachi on the Indian subcontinent in 1944. Displaying an unusual sense of logic, he went AWOL and journeyed to Cairo, Egypt, eventually reaching Italy. There, he commandeered a reconnaissance P-38 and flew to Milan, where he surrendered to the Germans, adopting the alias Martin Wiethaupt while assisting the Waffen-SS in propaganda efforts aimed at American POWs and Allied soldiers in Italy. Although Monty avoided direct combat as the war neared its end, he abandoned the SS, surrendered to the Americans in the south, and donned his SS officer uniform. He claimed it had been given to him by partisans to facilitate his escape to the American lines, concealing the fact that he had escaped with a P-38. The Americans, aware of his P-38 escapade, accepted his story of a lone heroic act against the Germans. Monty faced a court-martial for desertion and received a 15-year sentence of hard labour. Following a plea and appeal, President Truman pardoned him but mandated his re-enlistment as a precondition. The narrative takes an unusual turn when Monty re-enlisted in the army in 1946, eventually attaining the rank of sergeant. However, in 1948, his past as Martin Wiethaupt caught up with him, leading to his arrest by the FBI. Subsequently, he faced trial, resulting in a 25-year prison sentence. He was eventually granted parole in 1960 and passed away in the year 2000. Similarly, Mildred Gillards, a woman known for broadcasting messages to American soldiers in a captivating voice, found herself in legal trouble post-war. Following her trial, she received a sentence of 10 to 30 years of imprisonment, ultimately being paroled in 1961. She breathed her last in 1988. However, our exploration doesn't conclude there. Following extensive research efforts, I stumbled upon an antiquated publication titled Unknown Foreign Volunteers of the Waffen-SS, Soldiers from the Darkest Corners of Himmler's Military Empire by Cambridge River, distributed by Charles Martel Combs. Unfortunately, the author fails to provide any references for the information presented. Nevertheless, the content appears to be accurate and everything concerning Monty and Peter aligns with the verifiable truth. Within the pages of this book, numerous American names emerge, recounting their participation in the Waffen-SS, including Stuka pilots. Let me share some intriguing details from the text with you guys. The first identification exactly as it states. Howard Margraf, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 16 Oct 1916, joined RA, Reichsarbeitsdienst, in 1938, joined the SS Freischar, joined the SS Heimwehr Danzig Battalion, has two brothers named Gene and Norman, who also enlisted in the SS, assigned to the SSTK division after when it absorbed the Heimwehr Danzig, released from Waffen-SS in February 1941, and became involved in propaganda broadcasting escape, defected to Switzerland in 1943 with his two brothers. Again, exactly as it states, Edwin Peter, born in New York, 12th of March 1918, reached the rank of Obersturmführer in Waffen-SS. No unit was mentioned. KIA on 2nd July 1941 in Latvia. Again, Georg MacDonald, born in Buffalo, 7 May 1922, reached the rank of Untersturmführer in Waffen-SS, no unit was mentioned. KIA on 14th of March 1944, Jovi Estonian Nick Clausen, born in Philadelphia on 23rd October 1924. American citizen residing in Denmark, possibly served either in Freikorps Danmark, Viking or Nordland divisions. Senius Christian Olsen, born in Maison City on 3rd January 1918. American citizen residing in Denmark, possibly served either in Freikorps Danmark, Viking or Nordland divisions. Again, Richard Wesley Peterson, born in Minneapolis on 4th April 1925. American citizen residing in Denmark, possibly served either in Freikorps Danmark, Viking or Nordland divisions. Elmer Johannes Nielsen, born in Omaha, Nebraska, 15th of June 1911. American citizen residing in Denmark, possibly served either in Freikorps Danmark, Viking or Nordland divisions. Even Tuxenbjerg Nielsen, born in Omaha, Nebraska, 26 June 1920. American citizen residing in Denmark, possibly served either in Freikorps Danmark, Viking or Nordland divisions. Charles Braschwitz, born in New Jersey, 17th August 1911, Wachtmeister SS Polizei Division KEA on 7th May 1945, Laibach, Slovenia. Raymond George Rommelspacher, born in Chicago, 30th May 1926, SS Grenadier KIA during Allied landings in Normandy 1944. Andreas Hauser, born in Los Angeles, 30th August 1893, KIA on 18th January 1945, Welikai, Ukraine. Andy Beneshan was born in New York on 1st September 1918, SS Unterscharfe on 16th April 1945, Bosnia. William Thomas Buter, born in Trenton, New Jersey, 1920, living in Belgium when the war broke out, volunteered into the Walloon Legion under Wehrmacht, transferred to Waffen-SS in 1943. And death isn't stated. An American-born Stuka pilot killed in North Africa, Richard Engelbrecht, Lieutenant FF, born 30 Nov 1921, Atlanta, GA, USA, killed 11 May 1941 at Benghazi, Benina, serving with 5 Staffel Sturzkampfgeschwader Wines. Many of the individuals listed are American citizens who happened to be in Europe when World War II erupted. This fact is entirely reasonable considering the prevalent American presence in Europe during that time. Moreover, it is plausible that some Americans sympathized with National Socialist views before the war, leading them to consider aligning with the Germans. The significant question, however, revolves around the lack of exploration into this aspect of history and the apparent reluctance of the US government to acknowledge it. Why hasn't this subject been thoroughly investigated, and what impediments exist in recognizing such a complex and nuanced historical context? These are crucial questions that warrant further examination and discussion. However, our exploration again doesn't end here. I've delved deeper and unearthed official documents that substantiate these claims. Allow me to present them to you. Here is a man called Hans Hartwig Brunner, again another American-born. Born in 1912 in Boston, USA, his document states he was killed on the Eastern Front at Malkalinism in 1942. He was an Unteroffizier serving with the 2nd Infantry Battalion. Here is a Texas Department of State Health Services. Texas birth certificate for American Gerhard Wilhelm Hermann Bunsen. He was a lieutenant serving with Stabsbate 1st Artillery Regiment 90, with German parents living in America. Born 23rd October 1915 in El Paso, Texas, USA. Killed 27 October 1941 at Skermanowa, Russia. Theodor Julius Joachimsen, Oberleutnant, posthumously promoted to Hauptmann, served with 2 Fernkampfgeschwader. He was born on February 4, 1913 in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, USA. He lost his life on August 29, 1942 at Flugplatz Trondheim-Værnes, Norway. His final resting place is in Trondheim, Norway, where he was buried on September 1, 1942. Henry Adami, or Adami, Gefreiter, served with 4 Kampfsturm Battalion 186. He was born on September 20th, 1923, in Appleton or Appletown, USA. He fell in close combat on July 15th, 1943, northeast of Basmaya. Franz Westle Gefreiter served with 2nd Corps Nachrichtenabteilung 45. He was born on July 8, 1909 in Dallas, Texas, and unfortunately he passed away on January 22, 1943 at HV Cherikawa Husi Feodavka. William Schultz, Matrose, served with Marine Bordflakabteilung Süd. He was born on May 30th, 1924 in Newark, New Jersey, and lost his life on November 11th, 1942 in the Mediterranean.
Fallback position set. All units confirmed.
And here we find ourselves at a fascinating historical crossroads. The intricacies of this chapter remain relatively obscure, overshadowed by more extensively studied aspects of World War II. Consider the remarkable phenomenon Germany, a nation at the heart of one of the most devastating conflicts in human history, had nearly 1 million foreign recruits hailing from various corners of the globe. A noteworthy example lies in the diversity of the German forces during this tumultuous period, a mosaic of individuals, each with their unique background and motivations, converging to join the German war effort. One might find it surprising that the United States, a nation boasting incredible ethnic diversity even in the early to mid-20th century, contributed its citizens to this international mix within the German ranks. The reasons behind such involvement are multifaceted and intriguing. One must delve into the complex geopolitical landscape and the personal stories of those who, for various reasons, found themselves entangled in the conflicts of the time. Perhaps some were driven by ideological convictions, while others may have been motivated by a desire for adventure or even economic considerations. The backdrop of global upheaval and the unprecedented scale of the war created a unique confluence of circumstances that brought together individuals from disparate backgrounds. Exploring the experiences of Americans who fought and, in some cases, perished within the German ranks opens a window into the complexities of human agency during wartime. Their stories, often overshadowed by the broader narrative, reveal the nuance and individuality that characterize historical events. It challenges us to look beyond the conventional perspectives and recognize the intricate tapestry of motivations and choices that unfolded during this tumultuous period.
Organize. It's time to head out. Follow me. They're heading out. This is it.
Indeed, during that period, a significant number of young men perceived the looming threat of communism as it cast its shadow across Europe. Driven by a profound sense of duty and a perceived obligation to counter this ideological force, many felt compelled to take action. Regardless of one's contemporary opinion on their choices, it is essential to recognize that, in their eyes, they believed they were doing what they deemed right at that crucial moment in history. The historical context plays a pivotal role in understanding the motivations of these individuals. The spectre of communism, with its far-reaching implications and ideological clashes, fueled a sense of urgency among those who saw themselves as defenders of certain values or systems. Whether fueled by genuine ideological conviction, anti-communist sentiment, or a combination of factors, these individuals felt a calling to confront what they perceived as a formidable and imminent threat. It is vital to approach the actions of these young men with a nuanced understanding, acknowledging the complexity of historical circumstances. The lens of hindsight may lead us to pass judgment on their decisions, yet history seldom unfolds in simple black and white terms. The socio-political climate of the time, coupled with the uncertainties of a world grappling with profound changes, created an environment where individuals felt compelled to make choices that, from their perspective, were aligned with what they considered just and necessary.
Send up, maneuver!
And there you have it.
Standing button, Driver. Press forward. Prepared for action. Contact! Enemy fire!
Das Reich will go down in history as Germany's most decorated division throughout the entire war, boasting an unparalleled reputation for stability and consistency in its combat records within the Third Reich, renowned for its unwavering dedication to duty and exceptional performance on the battlefield. This division earned a plethora of decorations, solidifying its status as a symbol of German military prowess. Throughout the challenging and tumultuous periods of conflict, Das Reich exhibited remarkable resilience, demonstrating its ability to maintain a steady and reliable presence on various fronts. The division's consistent combat achievements became a testament to the disciplined training, strategic brilliance, and unwavering commitment of its soldiers. Not only did Das Reich accumulate a remarkable number of individual and unit commendations, but it also consistently played a pivotal role in critical battles and campaigns, earning the respect of both allies and adversaries alike. Its soldiers became synonymous with courage, tenacity, and a relentless pursuit of victory. As the war unfolded, Das Reich's reputation continued to soar, with its commanders and soldiers proving their mettle in diverse and challenging environments. This division became a symbol of the Third Reich's military might, showcasing the formidable capabilities and determination that characterized Germany's armed forces during this tumultuous period. Adolf Hitler made a strategic decision that would significantly shape the course of the Waffen-SS. He placed two key units, the Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler, LSSAH, later renamed the SS Division Leibstandarte, and the SS Verfügungstruppe, under the operational command of the High Command of the German Army. This move was a reflection of Hitler's desire to consolidate power and create a unified front within the German military. However, the effectiveness of the SS-VT during the subsequent invasion of Poland became a subject of scrutiny. Doubts arose regarding their combat capabilities, prompting discussions on the role and structure of the Waffen-SS. Heinrich Himmler, a prominent figure within the SS, passionately advocated for the autonomy of the SS-VT, arguing that it should fight in its own formations under its own commanders. In contrast, the OKW, the German Armed Forces High Command, pushed for the complete disbandment of the SS-VT, questioning its overall contribution to military objectives. Caught in the middle of conflicting opinions, Hitler faced a delicate dilemma. Unwilling to upset either the established military hierarchy or Heinrich Himmler, who wielded significant influence, Hitler opted for a compromise. He issued a directive that allowed the SS-VT to form its own divisions, but with a crucial caveat. These divisions would operate under the command of the German army. This decision sought to strike a balance between maintaining unity within the German military and appeasing the ambitions of the SS. As the SS-VT transitioned into forming its own divisions, one notable division that emerged during this period was the Der Führer Regiment, or the SS Das Reich. This division, part of the Waffen-SS, would go on to play a significant role in various campaigns. Renowned for its elite status, Das Reich became emblematic of the formidable but controversial nature of the Waffen-SS within the broader context of World War II. The division's involvement in key military operations and also committing heinous crimes, but they showcased both its military prowess and the ongoing complexities surrounding the relationship between the regular army and the SS during this critical period in history. In October 1939, a significant development unfolded within the SS Verfügungstruppe. The regiments Deutschland, Germania and Der Führer were consolidated to form the SS Verfügungsdivision, with one of the most notable German commanders, Hauser. Hauser, born in Brandenburg and the harbinger of Prussian military family, had a significant military upbringing with his father, Kurt Hauser, serving as a major in the Imperial German Army. Paul Hauser commenced his military journey in 1892, attending a cadet school in Köslin until 1896. Subsequently, he pursued further education at the Cadet Academy Berlin-Lichterfelde, successfully graduating in 1899. Upon receiving his commission as a lieutenant on March 20, 1899, Hauser was stationed at Ostrowo in Posen with Infantry Regiment 155. His dedication and skills were evident as he assumed the role of adjutant for the regiment's 2nd Battalion on October 1, 1903, serving in this capacity for 5 years until October 1908. Recognized for his military prowess, Hauser enrolled in the Prussian Military Academy in Berlin in October 1908, completing his studies and graduating on July 21, 1911. Throughout the First World War and beyond, from 1912 onward, he held various general staff assignments contributing to the significantly downsized post-war German army, known as the Reichswehr, where he attained the rank of colonel by 1927. Hauser's extensive military background and strategic contributions marked his notable career in service to Germany. On February 1, 1931, Hauser achieved the rank of Major General, marking a significant milestone in his military career. Following this accomplishment, he decided to retire from the Reichswehr on January 31, 1932, holding the distinguished rank of Lieutenant General at the time of his departure. Transitioning into civilian life, Hauser took an active role in the Stahlhelm organization, right wing group 1943, he assumed leadership as the head of its Brandenburg-Berlin chapter. However, as political landscapes evolved, Stahlhelm merged with the SA Sturmabteilung, and subsequently, with the decline of the SA, it became integrated into the SS Schutzstaffel. In November 1934, Hauser underwent a significant shift in his military allegiance, transferring to the SS Verfügungstruppe and being assigned to SS Führerschule Braunschweig. His involvement in the SS continued to progress, as in 1935 he assumed the role of Inspector of SS Junkerschule and earned a promotion to the rank of Brigadeführer in 1936. These developments marked a notable phase in Hauser's post-military career as he embraced new responsibilities within the SS organization. Following these organizational changes in October 1939, the SSVT and the LSSAH actively engaged in intensive combat training. Operating under the command of the German army, both units underwent rigorous preparations for the impending military campaign known as Fall Gelb. This strategic initiative aimed to orchestrate the invasion against the Low Countries and France in 1940. During this crucial training phase, the collaboration between the Waffen-SS and the regular army reached a pinnacle. The joint efforts under army commands were a testament to the growing integration of the SSVT and the LSSAH into broader military strategies. The meticulous preparation and coordination were essential to ensure the seamless cooperation of these elite SS units alongside the German army during the upcoming large-scale offensive. The involvement of the SSVT and the LSSAH in combat training marked a pivotal period in their operational history. The rigorous exercises and maneuvers undertaken by the SSVT, particularly in its formative years, played a foundational role in defining the combat capabilities of this elite paramilitary organization. The emphasis on physical fitness, marksmanship, tactical proficiency, and ideological commitment within the SSVT's training regiments laid the groundwork for the creation of a highly disciplined and skilled fighting force. The training experience of the SSVT was characterized by intensive physical conditioning, extensive marksmanship training, and tactical proficiency drills. These elements were designed not only to develop individual skills, but also to foster a sense of unit cohesion and shared purpose among the SSVT members. This period of rigorous preparation formed the backbone of the later Waffen-SS divisions. As Fall Gelb loomed on the horizon, the combat-ready SSVT and LSSAH units stood poised to make a significant impact in the theatres of the Low Countries and France. The coordinated efforts forged during this training period would soon be put to the ultimate test, shaping the narrative of the Waffen-SS's contribution to the unfolding events of World War II. In May 1940, the Der Führer Regiment undertook a pivotal role in the unfolding events near the Dutch border, as the division bided its time in Münster, anticipating the order to invade the Netherlands. The Der Führer Regiment was strategically detached and relocated closer to the Dutch frontier. The stage was set for a momentous ground invasion, commencing on the 10th of May. During this intense campaign, the regiment, alongside the renowned LSSAH, played a crucial role in the Dutch invasion. Oberscharführer Ludwig Keplinger, a non-commissioned officer in the Führer's 3rd Battalion, etched his name in history as the first ever Waffen-SS recipient of the Knight's Cross. Keplinger displayed exceptional courage during the assault across the Dutch border at Elten and the battalion's crossing over the Isel near Arnhem. Leading just 2 men, Keplinger climbed over the demolished Isel Bridge with the objective of seizing the heavily fortified village of Westerwold, bristling with machine guns. Despite facing intense fire during the river crossing, Keplinger's determination led to a daring charge, utilising all available cover, resulting in the successful entry into the village. A fierce battle ensued between Keplinger's 3-man team and the 90-man garrison. Through a relentless disregard for his own safety, Keplinger managed to force the surrender of Westervoort section by section. His remarkable soldierly courage, rarely surpassed on the battlefield, was evident in this operation. By 10 a.m. Westervoort was under the control of the 3 SS men, overcoming the heavily armed villagers who had previously held a seemingly impenetrable position. Notably, there was no infantry barrage or artillery support during the attack, and without the ability to request such assistance, success seemed improbable. Yet Keplinger's leadership qualities defied the odds. 1 hour later, the 3rd Armed Battalion crossed the Isel in force with Westervoort in their possession. The main strong point of the line had fallen into the hands of the 3 SS men, making the subsequent crossing of rubber boats supported by artillery against the remaining Westervoort positions only a matter of time. Without control of Westervoort, an attack across the Isel by the Bataillon could have resulted in significant casualties. Keplinger's role as the leader of this operation rightfully earns him the title of the bravest NCO in the regiment. The regiment acknowledges the heroic achievement of these 3 SS men for achieving a breakthrough across the Isel in a manner deemed impossible. In subsequent battles leading to the Gräber position, Keplinger continued to distinguish himself as a Zone-Führer. Despite sustaining multiple wounds, he chose to remain on the battlefield, leading his zone until fainting due to significant blood loss. After relinquishing command, he was promptly transported to the field hospital. Overall, undeterred by the challenges, the regiment, the Führer, showcased its unparalleled fighting prowess. Pushing beyond Utrecht, the forces stormed through Amsterdam, advancing steadfastly to Zandvoort along the coast. The individual SSVT units forging a united front converged at Marienburg. As a cohesive division, they embarked on a relentless western march, determined to crush the Dutch resistance entrenched in Belgium. The Dutch defenders, strategically positioned with artillery support and naval forces off the coast, presented a formidable challenge. The regiment Germany took the lead in the assault, facing severe casualties in the fierce encounter. Despite the valiant efforts, the battle culminated not in a triumphant German assault, but in a tactical Dutch retreat. The formidable defensive position and resilient resistance on Walcheren proved to be a formidable obstacle, leading to a strategic shift in the course of the campaign.
Excellent shot!
As a result, the SS Der Führer, or Das Reich, demonstrated exceptional performance during its inaugural operation in the Netherlands. The unit's proficiency and strategic fighting with the army on the battlefield showed us its formidable capabilities. As the SS Der Führer looks ahead to its next engagement, the stage is set for a challenging and important campaign in France. The momentum gained from its successful Dutch operation positions the division as a formidable force, ready to face the complexities of the upcoming conflict on the French front. The expectations are high, and the SS Der Führer is poised to exhibit further excellence and effectiveness in the battles that lie ahead. On the fateful day of May 22nd, 1940, the SSVT division embarked on a critical mission, surging towards the strategic destination of Calais. As they advanced through the darkened landscapes, the echoes of impending conflict reverberated in the air. A night camp en route became the setting for a fierce encounter when French units, determined to break free from the encircling Dunkirk pocket, launched a surprise attack on the unsuspecting SS soldiers. In the cover of darkness, the clash erupted, marking an intense fight in the unfolding drama of World War II. The intensity of the skirmish was the desperation of the French forces seeking an escape route from the tightening grip of the Dunkirk ring. The battle was arduous, testing the mettle of both sides as they grappled for control in the shadows of the night. Undeterred by the unexpected assault, the SSVT division fought on. Despite the ferocity of the French offensive, the disciplined Das Reich soldiers stood their ground, turning the tide of the confrontation. With tenacity and strategic acumen, the SSVT regained the initiative, altering the course of the engagement. On May 24th, the renowned Leibstandarte Division, in conjunction with the SS VT Division aka Das Reich, assumed a critical role in the defence and containment strategy around Dunkirk. Their mission was clear: to secure the perimeter and diminish the size of the pocket enveloping the besieged British Expeditionary Force and French troops. During this crucial operation, a daring patrol from the SS VT Division undertook the perilous crossing of the canal at Saint-Venant, only to face the formidable resistance of British armour. The initial attempt resulted in the destruction of the SS VT patrol, highlighting the difficult challenge posed by the well-equipped British forces. Undeterred by the setback, the SS VT Division swiftly mobilised a larger force to cross the canal, successfully establishing a strategic bridgehead at Saint-Venant, positioned approximately 30 miles